Imagine waking up in a space that feels light, airy, and free from clutter. A space that reflects a sense of peace and calm. This is the essence of minimalism, a lifestyle that embraces simplicity, focusing only on what truly matters. But minimalism isn't just about our physical surroundings. It's also a mindset, a way of life that aligns closely with the ancient philosophy of Stoicism. In today's world, where consumerism and materialism often dominate, many of us feel the pull toward a simpler, more meaningful existence. This desire for simplicity and intentional living is at the heart of both minimalism and frugal living. But what if I told you that these modern concepts have ancient roots? Roots that go back over 2,000 years to the philosophy of Stoicism. Minimalism is more than just a trend. It's a conscious choice to remove the non-essential from our lives so we can focus on what brings us true joy and fulfillment. It's about stripping away the excess, the physical clutter, the mental noise, and even the unnecessary distractions, so that we can live with more intention and clarity. Frugal living, on the other hand, is about being intentional with our resources, whether that's money, time, or energy. It's about making thoughtful choices, avoiding waste, and living within our means. Frugal living isn't about deprivation. It's about finding contentment and satisfaction in simplicity and recognizing that true wealth isn't measured by how much we have, but by how little we need. These concepts, minimalism and frugal living, are deeply interconnected. Both encourage us to focus on what truly matters, to let go of the things that don't, and to live more deliberately. And this is where Stoicism comes in. The Stoics, who lived in ancient Greece and Rome, understood that a life of excess, whether in possessions, desires, or emotions, leads to unrest and dissatisfaction. Instead, they advocated for a life of simplicity, self-discipline, and inner peace. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, often wrote about the importance of living a simple life. In his Meditations, he reminds us that very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. This idea that happiness is not found in external things, but in our inner attitudes and perceptions, is at the heart of both Stoicism and minimalism. By applying Stoic principles to our lives, we can cultivate a mindset that values simplicity, contentment, and purpose. We learn to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, while letting go of the things we cannot control, such as the opinions of others or the accumulation of material wealth. This shift in perspective allows us to live more freely and fully, unburdened by the unnecessary. So, what does this look like in practice? It means making conscious decisions about what we allow into our lives, whether that's physical possessions, commitments, or even thoughts and emotions. It means asking ourselves, does this add value to my life? Does this align with my values and goals? If the answer is no, then it's time to let it go. This is the essence of both minimalism and frugal living, guided by the wisdom of Stoicism. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of living in accordance with nature, which means living in harmony with the world around us and recognizing the impermanence of life. This principle can guide us in our minimalist journey, helping us to focus on what truly matters and let go of the distractions and clutter that don't contribute to our well-being. Minimalism is not just about having fewer things. It's about making room for what truly enriches our lives, whether that's time with loved ones, meaningful work, or simply the peace that comes from a calm, uncluttered space. Frugal living, too, is deeply connected to Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed in the virtue of self-control and moderation, which aligns perfectly with the principles of frugal living. By being mindful of our spending, avoiding waste, and prioritizing quality over quantity, we not only manage our resources more effectively, but also cultivate a sense of gratitude for what we have. This, in turn, leads to greater contentment and peace of mind. Living with less, whether that's fewer possessions, fewer commitments, or fewer distractions, frees us to focus on what truly matters. It allows us to live with more intention, clarity, and purpose. And in doing so, we create a life that is not only simpler but also richer and more fulfilling. Before we can fully appreciate the synergy between Stoicism, minimalism, and frugal living, it's essential to first understand what minimalism and frugal living truly mean. These terms are often used interchangeably or misunderstood as extreme lifestyles, but at their core, they represent something much deeper and more profound. Let's start with minimalism. At its essence, minimalism is about living with intention. It's a lifestyle choice that encourages us to remove excess, to focus on what truly matters, and to create space, both physically and mentally, for the things that bring us joy, purpose, and fulfillment. Minimalism asks us to question the idea that more is better and to consider that, perhaps, less can actually lead to more. More clarity, more freedom, more peace. Minimalism is not about deprivation or asceticism. It's not about living with as little as possible or denying yourself the things you love. Rather, it's about making conscious choices that align with your values. It's about prioritizing quality over quantity, experiences over possessions, and mindfulness over mindless consumption. By doing so, we create a life that is not only simpler but also richer in meaning. Now, let's talk about frugal living. Like minimalism, frugal living is often misunderstood. It's sometimes seen as being cheap or stingy, but in reality, frugal living is about being wise with our resources. It's about understanding the value of what we have, making thoughtful choices with our spending, and avoiding waste, whether that's money, time, or energy. Frugal living isn't about depriving ourselves. It's about making the most of what we have and finding contentment in simplicity. At its core, frugal living is rooted in the idea of living well within our means. It's about being mindful of our financial choices, reducing unnecessary expenses, and finding joy in the simple things rather than constantly striving for more. Frugality encourages us to focus on what truly matters: relationships, experiences, and personal growth, rather than getting caught up in the pursuit of material wealth. Both minimalism and frugal living share a common theme: intentionality. They ask us to be intentional with our choices, to focus on what truly matters, and to let go of the rest. In a world that often encourages excess, whether it's in our possessions, our schedules, or our spending, minimalism and frugality offer an alternative path. They invite us to slow down, to simplify, and to find contentment in the present moment. But why are these concepts important? Why should we care about minimalism and frugal living in today's world? The answer lies in the benefits they offer. Benefits that go beyond just saving money or decluttering our homes. Minimalism and frugal living can lead to greater peace, less stress, more financial freedom, and a deeper sense of purpose. They help us to align our lives with our values and to create space for the things that truly matter. As we've seen, both minimalism and frugal living encourage us to live with intention. They challenge us to question our habits, to let go of what no longer serves us, and to focus on what truly adds value to our lives. And when we combine these practices with the wisdom of Stoicism, we find a powerful framework for living a life of greater simplicity, purpose, and fulfillment. Now that we've laid the groundwork by discussing minimalism and frugal living, it's time to explore the philosophy that underpins these concepts: Stoicism. Stoicism, born in the ancient cities of Greece and later refined in Rome, is more than just a set of teachings. It's a way of life. At its core, Stoicism is about mastering the art of living with less fear, less worry, less distraction, so that we can focus on what truly matters. Let's begin by understanding the origins of Stoicism. Founded by Zeno of Citium in the early 3rd century BCE, Stoicism emerged as a response to the chaotic and unpredictable nature of life. The Stoics believed that the key to a fulfilling life was not found in external circumstances, but in our inner attitude and perspective. They taught that by cultivating virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, we could achieve a state of tranquility and resilience, regardless of what life throws our way. Among the most influential Stoic philosophers were Seneca, Roman statesman and advisor; Epictetus, a former slave turned teacher; and Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor of Rome. Each of these thinkers contributed significantly to Stoic thought, offering practical advice on how to live with purpose, clarity, and contentment. One of the central tenets of Stoicism is the concept of living in accordance with nature. But what does this mean? For the Stoics, it meant recognizing the natural order of the world and our place within it. It meant understanding that while we cannot control external events, we can control how we respond to them. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. This brings us to one of the most powerful Stoic teachings, the dichotomy of control. The Stoics taught that life can be divided into two categories: things we can control and things we cannot. Our thoughts, actions, and attitudes fall into the first category. The opinions of others, the weather, and the past fall into the second. By focusing our energy on what we can control, we free ourselves from unnecessary worry and stress. Imagine the peace that comes from this perspective. Instead of being tossed around by every external event, we ground ourselves in our own inner stability. This is where the connection to minimalism and frugal living becomes clear. Both minimalism and frugal living are about simplifying our lives, reducing the distractions, and focusing on what truly matters. Stoicism provides the philosophical framework that supports these practices, guiding us toward a life of purpose and clarity. Let's explore how Stoicism can help us embrace minimalism and frugal living. The Stoics believed in the virtue of temperance, or self-control. They taught that by mastering our desires and avoiding excess, we could live more virtuous and fulfilling lives. This is directly related to the minimalist mindset of reducing our possessions and focusing on quality over quantity. In his writings, Seneca often warned against the dangers of luxury and excess. He observed that the more we indulge our desires, the more we become enslaved by them. Instead, he advocated for a life of moderation, where we find contentment in simplicity and avoid the trappings of material wealth. This echoes the principles of frugal living, where we focus on managing our resources wisely and finding satisfaction in what we have. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, taught that true freedom comes not from external possessions, but from inner self-mastery. He believed that by cultivating a disciplined mind, we could free ourselves from the tyranny of desires and fears. This aligns perfectly with the minimalist principle of decluttering our lives, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, provides us with perhaps the most poignant example of how to live with less. Despite being the ruler of the vast Roman Empire, Marcus Aurelius lived a life of relative simplicity. In his private writings, Meditations, he often reflected on the fleeting nature of life and the importance of focusing on what truly matters: virtue, wisdom, and the well-being of others. One of the most powerful passages from Marcus Aurelius's Meditations reminds us that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This idea, that our inner world is more important than our outer circumstances, is at the heart of both Stoicism and Minimalism. By cultivating a mindset of simplicity and focusing on what we can control, we can live more peacefully and purposefully, regardless of our external situation. So, how can we apply these Stoic principles to our daily lives? Start by practicing the dichotomy of control. When faced with a challenge or decision, ask yourself, is this something I can control? If it is, take action. If it's not, let it go. This simple practice can help you reduce stress and focus your energy on what truly matters. Next, consider how you can incorporate the virtue of temperance into your life. This could mean simplifying your possessions, reducing your commitments, or being more mindful of your spending. Remember, the goal is not deprivation, but intentionality, focusing on what brings true value and letting go of the rest. Finally, embrace the Stoic practice of reflecting on your day. At the end of each day, take a few moments to consider how you lived. Did you focus on what you can control? Did you live with intention and purpose? Did you practice gratitude for the simple things in life? This daily practice of reflection can help you stay grounded in Stoic principles and continue to cultivate a life of simplicity and meaning. Stoicism teaches us that less is often more. By reducing our desires, focusing on what we can control, and living in accordance with nature, we can achieve a state of tranquility and contentment. This is the true philosophy of less, not just in terms of possessions, but in terms of our thoughts, our desires, and our way of living. Stoicism offers us a powerful framework for living a life of simplicity and purpose. By focusing on what we can control, letting go of excess, and cultivating virtues like wisdom, courage, and self-discipline, we can create a life that is not only simpler but also richer in meaning. In this section, we'll explore how you can apply Stoic principles to minimalism and frugal living in a practical, actionable way. Let's start with one of the most fundamental Stoic practices, the daily reflection. The Stoics believe that a day should never end without reflecting on how we lived, what we did well, and where we can improve. This practice is invaluable for anyone looking to live more intentionally. Take a few minutes at the end of each day to ask yourself, did I focus on what I can control? Did I let go of unnecessary worries? Did I live according to my values? This simple habit can help you stay grounded in Stoic principles and keep your life aligned with your goals. Next, let's talk about decluttering, both physically and mentally. The Stoics taught that true freedom comes from letting go of attachments and focusing on what is truly essential. Start by decluttering your physical space. Look around your home and ask yourself, do these items serve a purpose? Do they add value to my life? If not, it may be time to let them go. By reducing the physical clutter in your environment, you create a space that is more peaceful and conducive to clear thinking. But decluttering isn't just about physical objects. It's also about decluttering your mind. The Stoics believe that our thoughts and emotions can often become cluttered with unnecessary worries, desires, and fears. Practice mindfulness to become more aware of your thoughts. When you notice negative or unproductive thoughts arising, acknowledge them, but don't let them take control. Instead, focus on the present moment and what you can do right now to live in accordance with your values. Another powerful Stoic practice is voluntary discomfort. The Stoics believe that by occasionally experiencing discomfort or going without luxuries, we could strengthen our resilience and appreciate what we have even more. This can be applied to both minimalism and frugal living. Try simplifying your life by going without certain comforts for a short period. Whether it's skipping a meal, reducing your screen time, or cutting back on spending. These small acts of self-discipline can help you build mental strength and remind you that happiness doesn't depend on external comforts. Let's also talk about managing resources wisely. Frugal living is about being intentional with how we use our resources, whether it's money, time, or energy. The Stoics taught that wastefulness and excess lead to dissatisfaction, while moderation and mindfulness lead to contentment. Start by tracking your spending and noticing where your money goes. Are you spending on things that truly add value to your life, or are there areas where you can cut back? Consider adopting the practice of delayed gratification, waiting before making a purchase to ensure it's something you truly need or want. Frugal living also extends to how we spend our time. Time, according to the Stoics, is our most valuable resource, and how we use it determines the quality of our lives. Reflect on how you spend your days. Are you investing your time in activities that align with your values and bring you closer to your goals? Or are you caught up in distractions and activities that don't serve your higher purpose? Consider simplifying your schedule by cutting out unnecessary commitments and focusing on what truly matters. Another key Stoic principle is the idea of living in accordance with nature. This means recognizing the natural rhythms of life and accepting things as they are, rather than constantly striving for more. It's about finding contentment in simplicity and aligning our desires with what is natural and necessary. This principle can guide us in our pursuit of minimalism and frugal living. Instead of constantly seeking the next best thing, focus on appreciating what you already have and finding joy in the simple pleasures of life. One of the most profound Stoic practices is the concept of memento mori, remembering that we will die. This might seem morbid, but the Stoics saw it as a powerful reminder to live each day fully and intentionally. By keeping the impermanence of life in mind, we are more likely to focus on what truly matters and let go of the things that don't. This can inspire us to live more simply, avoiding the distractions and excesses that often clutter our lives. Stoicism also teaches us to embrace gratitude. The Stoics believed that gratitude was essential for a happy and fulfilling life. By regularly reflecting on what we're thankful for, we shift our focus from what we lack to what we already have. This mindset is crucial for both minimalism and frugal living. Instead of constantly seeking more, practice gratitude for the simple things: the roof over your head, the food on your table, the relationships that bring you joy. Finally, let's talk about embracing simplicity in all aspects of life. The Stoics taught that a simple life is a good life. This doesn't mean renouncing all pleasures, but rather being mindful of what we allow into our lives. Consider simplifying your diet, focusing on wholesome, nourishing foods rather than processed or overly indulgent options. Simplify your wardrobe, choosing quality over quantity and focusing on items that truly serve you. Simplify your home, creating a space that is calm, organized, and free from unnecessary clutter. Remember, minimalism and frugal living are not about deprivation, but about making conscious choices that align with your values and lead to a more fulfilling life. By applying Stoic principles to these practices, you can cultivate a life of greater simplicity, contentment, and peace. Let's start with the most immediate and tangible benefit: reduced stress and anxiety. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the constant demands on our time, energy, and resources. We're bombarded with messages telling us that we need more success, more possessions, more experiences to be happy. But the truth is, the pursuit of more often leads to greater stress and anxiety. Stoicism, minimalism, and frugal living offer an antidote to this. By focusing on what we can control, letting go of unnecessary desires, and simplifying our lives, we reduce the mental clutter that contributes to stress. This creates more space for peace, calm, and clarity. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the idea that our happiness doesn't depend on external circumstances, but on our inner state of mind. When we practice Stoicism, we learn to find contentment within ourselves, regardless of what's happening around us. This leads to a greater sense of inner peace and emotional resilience. Similarly, by embracing minimalism and frugal living, we free ourselves from the constant pressure to keep up with others, to buy more, to do more. We find that we can be happy with less, and this realization brings a profound sense of liberation. Another significant benefit is financial freedom. When we adopt a frugal mindset, we become more intentional with our spending, prioritizing what truly matters and cutting out unnecessary expenses. This doesn't just save money. It also reduces financial stress and allows us to build savings, invest in our future, or simply enjoy the peace of mind that comes from living within our means. Minimalism and frugal living often go hand in hand. By reducing our consumption and focusing on quality over quantity, we make more room in our budget for the things that really matter, whether that's experiences, education, or simply a sense of security. Beyond financial benefits, there's also the benefit of time. Time, as the Stoics remind us, is our most valuable resource. By simplifying our lives and focusing on what truly matters, we free up time that was previously spent on unnecessary tasks, obligations, or distractions. This gives us more time to invest in the things that bring us joy and fulfillment. Whether that's spending time with loved ones, pursuing a passion, or simply enjoying the present moment. By living a stoic, minimalist, and frugal life, we reclaim our time and use it more intentionally. Another profound benefit is the sense of purpose and alignment that comes from living according to your values. When we strip away the excess and focus on what truly matters, we're able to live more authentically and in alignment with our deepest beliefs. Stoicism teaches us to prioritize virtue, wisdom, and inner peace over external success or material wealth. By applying these principles to our lives, we find that our actions, decisions, and goals become more aligned with our values. This creates a deep sense of purpose and fulfillment, as we know that we're living in a way that is true to ourselves. Minimalism and frugal living also foster a deeper appreciation for the simple things in life. When we reduce our attachment to material possessions and external achievements, we become more aware of the beauty and value of everyday experiences, the warmth of the sun on our face, the sound of birds singing, the taste of a home-cooked meal. This heightened awareness and appreciation lead to greater contentment and joy, as we learn to find happiness in the present moment, rather than constantly seeking it elsewhere. Moreover, living a stoic, minimalist, and frugal life can improve our relationships. By focusing on what truly matters, we become more present, attentive, and compassionate in our interactions with others. We let go of superficial concerns and focus on building deeper, more meaningful connections. We also become more generous, as we realize that true wealth is not measured by what we have, but by what we give. This shift in perspective strengthens our relationships and brings more love, joy, and fulfillment into our lives. Finally, one of the greatest benefits of embracing Stoicism, minimalism, and frugal living is the sense of freedom and liberation that comes with it. When we let go of the need to constantly strive for more success, more possessions, more experiences, we free ourselves from the endless cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. We find that we can be happy with what we have, that we are enough just as we are. This realization brings a profound sense of freedom, as we are no longer bound by the expectations of others or the demands of society. We are free to live according to our own values, to pursue our own goals, and to find joy in the present moment. As we come to the end of this journey, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored together. From the ancient wisdom of Stoicism to the modern practices of minimalism and frugal living, we've uncovered a path that leads to greater peace, clarity, and fulfillment. It's a path that challenges us to let go of the excess, to focus on what truly matters, and to live each day with intention. We've seen how Stoic principles can guide us in simplifying our lives. By focusing on what we can control, practicing gratitude, and embracing discomfort, we strengthen our resilience and find contentment within ourselves. We've learned that minimalism is not about deprivation, but about making conscious choices that align with our values. And we've discovered that frugal living is about using our resources wisely, prioritizing what truly matters, and finding freedom in simplicity. But more than anything, we've learned that these practices are not just about creating a simpler life, they're about creating a better life. A life where we are no longer driven by the endless pursuit of more, but by the pursuit of meaning, purpose, and joy. A life where we find happiness not in what we acquire, but in who we are and how we live. As you move forward, I encourage you to take the lessons we've discussed and apply them to your own life. Start small, perhaps with a daily Stoic reflection, a decluttering project, or a commitment to mindful spending. Notice how these small changes begin to create a ripple effect, bringing more peace, clarity, and contentment into your life. Remember, the goal is not to achieve perfection, but to make progress each day toward a life that is simpler, more intentional, and more fulfilling. Living a stoic, minimalist, and frugal life is a journey, one that requires patience, commitment, and self-compassion. There will be challenges along the way, and that's okay. What matters is that you continue to move forward, to learn from each experience, and to stay true to your values. The rewards of this journey are profound: a deeper sense of peace, a stronger sense of purpose, and a life that is rich in meaning and joy. Before we close, I want to leave you with one final thought: the power of simplicity. In a world that often tells us that more is better, simplicity reminds us that less is more. It reminds us that true wealth is found not in material possessions, but in the richness of our relationships, the depth of our experiences, and the contentment we find within ourselves. By embracing simplicity, we open ourselves up to a life that is not only simpler, but also more meaningful, more joyful, and more aligned with our true nature. So as you continue on your journey, remember to keep things simple. Focus on what truly matters, let go of what doesn't, and find peace in the present moment. Thank you for joining me on this journey, And I hope that the insights we've shared have inspired you to live a life of greater simplicity, purpose, and fulfillment. If you found this series helpful, please consider sharing it with others who might benefit from these ideas. And don't forget to subscribe for more content on Stoicism, minimalism, and intentional living. Until next time, remember, less is more, and a life of simplicity is a life well lived.